Welcome back, guys. This is an emergency meeting. It's an emergency pod because the news just came. Madrid have 4 players who will not be suspended for the Arsenal game tomorrow. Don, as the biggest stakeholder, what was your reaction to this news?
My reaction wasn't. My reaction didn't change because if I'm being completely second, that would affect anything. If you ask me, it's Madrid, and whatever happened, they would have found a way to make it not affect them. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
You're telling me that I wasn't really expecting anything.
You're telling me that Endrick could have done a job ahead of Kylian Mbappé?
Hell no. Mbappé is not suspended.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying
Mbappé is not suspended. Rüdiger is not suspended. Vinicius is not suspended.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is this: I wasn't really. Yes. So you've asked how I feel.
Yeah.
After hearing that they're not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're asking how I feel after hearing that they're not going to be suspended for the game against Arsenal, my team. Yeah. Am I correct? Is that your question?
That is my question.
Yeah. So my response to that is, I didn't feel as though they were going to get suspended in the first place. That was just all talk, just to get people riled up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't even think a suspendable circumstance or situation or event or whatever, whichever way you want to put it, they will find a way to make sure it didn't affect this game, and maybe suspension will kick in after they've. Seriously, it's Madrid. Come on. So I wasn't expecting anything different. Is what I'm trying to say.
That's a very good. And if you look at the people who are paid to react to football news and all these things, that was basically the same reaction. They said,
"Oh, there you go."
That even though these offenses are suspendable offenses, Vinicius,
yes,
egging on the crowd, antagonizing the fans, as he always does. Kylian Mbappé making a rude gesture, Rüdiger actually making a throat-slitting gesture like the terrorist he is. I mean, the fact that everybody already knew going in that, we're not surprised, UEFA wouldn't suspend these Madrid players. I'm like, isn't that strange? That's a strange thing to say. And the third part is that Vinicius had zero disciplinary action for what he did. Zero.
Yeah.
So for me, looking at his face, because we have to look at his face to explain why they're not doing anything. Because if you suspend this person, you to be a racism thing. We're suspending Vinicius because he looks like a caricature. Those old black paintings of people. Those prehistoric. He looks like a prehistoric black person. So if you suspend him, it's racism. And he's the one who cries the most. He's the one who antagonizes people the most. Yeah. And they did nothing to him. Nothing.
Yeah.
But they're finding Mbappé 30,000. They're finding what's his name? They're finding what's the other guy's name? They're finding Rüdiger this 1,000. And it's like, what are we talking about? What?
Yeah.
So it's not strange.
Yeah, Vinicius. At this point, I've had enough of his as good a footballer as he is. He ruins all that stuff by his antics. Do you know what I mean? And I really don't get it. I don't understand it myself. It's getting boring at this point.
Yeah, we even talked about it now, right? Like the fact that
of course we have.
He has all this hype on his name, and nothing. Like all he does is run fast. Like I don't get it. That's all he does. So Rüdiger fined 44,000 euros for doing this. Let's see. Mbappé gets 33,000 fine for doing this, grabs his balls. And then Ceballos, 20,000. But then Vinicius, nothing for Vinicius. Because he spent the last 2 years of his career crying about so-called racism. But what he did was antagonizing the fans. Because here they say he was being investigated for clashing. And everybody's sensitive now. What did they call this in America? In America, they call this criminal justice reform.
He should just stick to stick to football and just play football. Because these things are pissing me off for real. And it's just funny that, and really and truly, that's the whole reason they're not doing nothing about this, his antics, because it's going to be that whole racism narrative that we're going to be hearing after.
Yes, football will stop for the next 2 months if you do something to Vinicius.
Of course,
if somebody boos him in the crowd, he will say the person was behaving like a monkey.
Yeah.
And then they have to close down the stadium to purge the stadium of racism. They'll get like a black priest to come and cleanse the land because somebody behaved like a monkey or someone threw a banana. So my real issue, the reason why we even have this meeting in the first place is because everybody in the world of football knows that they were never going to get suspended, even though the actions that
Of course, come on.
even though the actions that they took are suspendable offenses.
Warranted suspensions.
So how then that in football we have these rules, but because it's Madrid in the quarterfinals, Arsenal don't get that advantage of simply enforcing the laws as they are written on the paper?
Of course not.
That's what is happening here.
Of course not.
Because everybody knows that Madrid is a huge favorite, but for Arsenal to have a puncher's chance, having 4 of their players suspended through no fault of Arsenal's, so the Arsenal didn't have anything to do with them. They are the ones who went and did the things they did against Atletico Madrid. And Arsenal, not being in this position for a very long time, they have the opportunity where 3 key players are missing, and they have the opportunity to take an advantage at the Emirates. But the entire football world knows that Madrid, nobody's going to suspend.
No, of course not.
Why is that? Is Madrid above the law? If we look at earlier fines and suspensions, we will see people probably getting suspended for even lesser offenses than what the Madrid players did.
Yeah.
So
when it comes to Madrid, it's always different. Madrid has to be in the finals. Because it makes it look good if Madrid's in the finals.
Right.
So that's just the way it works.
Okay, so what you're saying is that UEFA has a vested interest in Madrid being at the latter stages of the competition.
Of course.
Because it's more profitable.
Of course they have. It's obvious they do. We can all see by the way Madrid gets. Come on, it doesn't matter if we all, as kids, during our childhood, were Madrid fans or for whatever reasons. So we still have Madrid is like almost kind of like everyone's second favorite team, but it doesn't change the fact that. Come on, Madrid is not judged as impartial as other teams are when it comes to Champions League.
Wow.
We've all seen it over the years.
So they get
they get an extra 2-3 minutes here and there, or decision just go their way.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. I'm sure I'm not the only one who can start.
You're right. Because
that's what we're talking about, or incidents.
Over the last 3 years, like Madrid has been the team to win the Champions League, or the team that wins the Champions League were the ones who beat Madrid, right? And I remember growing up, like just getting into football, Madrid were never this gigantic team that everyone simply expects to win the Champions League every year. Do you remember? The Galacticos was a pretty barren year. In fact, it was Barcelona that was kind of
Of course.
You get my point. So I find.
Don't forget, Ronaldinho used to go to the Bernabeu and kill the Galacticos. We've all seen clips of it. Some of us watched it back then.
We watched it. That's what I'm saying. We watched this. So Madrid wasn't really that much of a team. Remember Arsenal, Henry on the road to Paris.
Really successful. So
what happened? Is it that Pérez came back? Florentino Pérez came back, and then he has that influence. He has that, magic, shaking hands with UEFA, and then UEFA is like, okay, fine, let's get behind these guys again, because that's kind of the way it seems to me. Because,
bro, let me tell you something. If you ask me, if Pérez went there, Pérez is a slimy motherfucker.
Yeah,
he knows how to move.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying to you.
Yes.
So, if you ask me, if Pérez wasn't there, I don't think they would have won this many Champions League trophies.
Thank you. That it's just a gut feeling I had, and it seems like that resonates. People can see, because the barren period of Madrid, is like that same 2006. So he comes back, 2009. That's with the Ronaldo thing. He's a politician. Are you saying this? So there are so many strange things. There's so many avenues of influence that allow Florentino Pérez, like people don't want to offend Florentino Pérez. You get my point.
Of course, it's like he's got a hold on UEFA or something. It's crazy. I've had this conversation with people a while back, like a bunch of times, as a matter of fact. So nobody wants to piss him off. Nobody wants to offend him. It's like he knows something we don't. So I don't know. And you know what's funny? It's kind of similar to Laporta at Barcelona. Because I believe the barren years Barcelona had was without Laporta. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to do my Googles on this one.
Yeah, let's look at it. Let's look at Laporta, right?
Yeah. He's back now at the help. So
what were the barren years of Laporta?
Barcelona, right? So we'd say again, didn't he just come back not too long ago, a few years ago?
Yeah, I think he didn't.
When they were really struggling and stuff.
Okay, so he had. That was Bartomeu. Let's see. 2003, 2010. Barcelona won the Champions League in that time twice, 2006 and 2009. Then he comes back. He comes back in 2021.
When did Messi leave?
Messi left 2021.
Okay, 2021. I thought so.
Anyway,
he wasn't there. Was he there when Messi left?
No, I think it was Bartomeu. Then Laporta came in after Messi left. Bartomeu oversaw the horrible financial ruin of Barcelona. But anyways, I do think that Florentino Pérez's influence cannot be denied, and the fact that the entire football world knows it's like an open secret. That's the way it looks to me. Because nobody here was surprised. Everyone's like, no, there's no way they're going to suspend these people. If they are supposed to face suspension, why don't they face the suspension? I think it's a little bit strange for us to sit down.
I wasn't planning on that match without those three players, to be honest. Like, we've seen it over and over. They will say, "Oh, there's this. Madrid, the UEFA court or whatever, whichever way they frame their stories, whatever when they do,
yeah.
And you think Madrid is going to be big trouble. We've seen it over and over. Somehow,
so I guess we felt.
And if this was gonna actually kick in, they'll make sure it kicks in after the World Cup, the Champions League is finished.
Yeah.
Then they'll put the fine. They'll make them pay a fine before the next season starts or some bullshit like that. So yeah, I didn't think it was going to affect them in any way. But it wasn't even in my.
So we've been on this rodeo before, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, that's crazy. So, man.
But at the same time, I'd rather play the Real Madrid. You know what I mean? The real lineup anyway. So
yeah, if
you don't want to beat them and they turn around and say, well, this person wasn't there, this person wasn't there. As much as I'm pissed off that some of our key players are not fit for this match, so we don't have Gabriel Jesus, we don't have Gabriel Magalhaes, who's been our best defender this season.
Yeah.
Saliba will tell you that himself. We don't have Havertz. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going into this game not completely 100%. But it's a Champions League, you know what I mean? These are games you want to play, you want to be a part of anyway. You want your team to be a part of anyway, regardless of whether you have a reserve team squad ready to play them or not.
Yeah.
So yeah,
also,
and we know that
you still have to go to the
crazier things have happened in football.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Crazier things have happened in football. So yeah, I still believe anything can happen. I believe we could win tomorrow still, regardless. I just feel as though at the Bernabeu it's going to be a different result.
Yeah,
it's going to be something else because everything's going to be against us. Come on, guys,
all right. So I guess that kind of wraps it up. Madrid has some kind of influence that we don't quite know yet what it is. And honestly, we'll have to put a pin in this against the match tomorrow. But we will go back. We will come back to this starting point and have a fuller discussion on the interests of football.
Yeah.
That is, there's like Trump likes to say, a deep state. So if there is a deep state and we can see the tentacles of the deep state in the way this Madrid situation was handled, then we must look at it in the context of other mysterious things that have happened in football. Because a thing like this with Madrid is mysterious, but everybody knows what the secret is. They just won't say. So we will try our best to say it in plain words, and going forward, we'll explore other football mysteries. So thank you so much, Don.
Yes.
I know you're busy, so this video will be up at midnight. Guys, everyone watch it. See how it goes. We'll see you after the match. After Arsenal comes back with a 2-0. Huh?
2-0 is what I think it's going to be, actually.
Yeah, 2-0 victory over Madrid.
That's what
I want Madrid out of this competition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you speak for a lot of football fans.
Oh my God, I'm tired of the Madrid hype.